Important thing to keep in mind. The erosive power of water depends on primarily the velocity. When the velocity is fast, it's more erosive. The velocity of the water depends on the gradient. The steeper the gradient, the faster the water. If you get to a low profile gradient, the water is going to be moving slow. It may not be erosive at all. It may be deposition or somewhere in between. In this landscape, we have relatively slow moving water, and all it's really doing is taking the roughly 200 feet of lush topsoil and smoothing it out, right? But you can see right here, look at this parabolic form right here. It's exactly what we're seeing here in these photographs and what we're seeing here and here. But again, scale and variance, very important in geology. That's why you always have in geological pictures, you have a rock pick or a person standing there. Otherwise, you don't know, are we looking at an outcrop that's 6 feet high or 600 feet high? I'm going to conclude with drumlins because I think drumlins are going to be a key to understanding the nature of this catastrophe. This is an aerial photograph of a drumlin. It's an elongated, streamlined type form, but it has a blunt end up current and a tapered end down current. Okay, so this water, and see, here's the thing about a drumlin. They only form under glaciers. It's water flowing without a free surface. So there's an overlying glacier that could be thousands of feet thick. So there's this lid that causes the water to flow under enormous pressure. Now, when the glacier comes along, grinds over the landscape, it pulverizes it and creates glacial till, which is the raw material that forms moraines, eskers, and drumlins. But now, picture, in glacial till, it's completely chaotic. There's no structure to see in there because the glacier just grinds up everything. Rocks, boulders, sand, gravel, organic material. Now, you've got a huge subglacial flood coming under the ice sheet, under pressure, and what it does is it shapes the till into these streamlined forms like you see right here. And this is evidence of massive subglacial floods. Here's a section of a drumlin swarm. And in some of the more magnificent and large-scale drumlin swarms, there's thousands of drumlins covering thousands of square miles. And it tells you flow direction because the blunt end, like I said, is up current, the tapered end is down current. So that is a paleocurrent indicator. It tells you which direction the water was moving. And we're going to have to speed through some of this because I think I'm down to, 5 minutes left? What time is it? It's what? After what? So we got a break for dinner. So let's just end up here with, here's our buddy Jerome Lessman, who's one of the world experts on drumlins. Myself and Brad Young are up on the plateau region in British Columbia. Cold as hell out there. Wind is blowing. I have 15 minutes? Oh, okay. Well, I don't have to panic then yet? Okay. So we're up there looking drumlins, and this is an example of a rock drumlin from the ground. It's blunt on the upper end, tapered on the downstream end, and they can form, like if you have an obstacle in the flow, this pressurized flow will carve that obstacle, and then it'll create this long tail of debris extending off of the prominence. Does that make sense? I hope. But what we were looking for is we went up there, we were looking for drumlins that was evidence that the source of at least some of the water that created the channel scablands came from the north out of British Columbia and not from the east out of glacial Lake Missoula. Jerome Lessman was a graduate student under John Shaw who kind of first came up with the idea that drumlins were formed by subglacial pressurized floods. His critics savaged him, though, because he couldn't provide a source for the huge volumes of water necessary to create these drumlin swarms, right? They said, well, was it on top of the glacier water formed, called supraglacial? Was it below the glacier, subglacial? And they said, there's no way that you're going to be able to produce the reservoir of water. And in one case, what is called the Livingstone Lake event, it was the calculation showed that the total discharge of that event was about 84,000 cubic kilometers of water.